I wanted to make sure that I'm able to show these cards to you first off, but I'm letting you know that there are some things that I left to be shown as we went. So I'm not going to make all the cards for you in front of you, or else we would be at this for a lot longer, like an actual Saturday class would be. But this is just kind of a talk briefly about what is here, and there are certain things that I wanted to show you. So this is, and I don't even have it set up nicely in my pack. Wouldn't that be the way? Uh-oh. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me. Can you see if there's another pack sitting over there, please? By the way, my husband is here with me, helping me out. And so while he's looking for the other packet, I am going to go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I have made, and we'll go from there. Haha, just kidding. Okay, so I'm a little airheaded today. Bear with me. I was enjoying my time making these, and I just made a lot of them. So first off, this is the Eastern Wishes that we have from Hunkydory. We put it on a great sale, and you get both the luxury kits. You get 2 sets of 4 toppers and 2 sets of 8 cardstock, 4 foiled and 4 in regular cardstock. And so with this, excuse me, no, that's not right. 8 and 8, 8 foiled and 8 regular cardstock. And so in this pack, currently with the sale that we have, you're getting the luxury kit along with all of the inserts. And let me tell you, these inserts are amazing. They have special papers along with everything else. So I'm going to kind of pull this open really quick and show you what's in here. Now keep in mind, I just have 1 set to work with because I've already used a set. So bear with me. Okay, hon, you want to go ahead and show me? Move it on up. And there is a toggle button that you can go in and out with. Right. So you just tip down, and then from there you've got it. Okay. We just had to remind each other. It's new. All right, guys. So here is the first one. It's called Greetings from the East. We have some pheasants and some peacocks and some wording that goes through it. We did show these the other day on a What's New Wednesday to let you know that we were putting them on sale. So I'm not going to take a lot of time. This is one of the regular card stocks for the peacock and pheasant. And then this is the pheasant one. And this one's the one that's foiled. Oh, look, I had it more in order than I thought. Okay, and so our next one is Eastern Charm. We've got vases and lanterns, and I think this is, I had thought that this was my favorite, and now I can't decide. So you'll have to tell me in comments which is your favorite when we're done. And I am going to tell you right now, we will not get through all of it today. There's still die cut making items and stamp items, and so I want to take the time to show you clearly what we were doing so that you can hopefully replicate it for yourself, or know what you like and what you don't like, and maybe get a new idea even if you aren't using this set. So the lantern one has that one, and then this goes with the vases for colors. This one is a vase and tea and some blooms and flowers, and there's a couple little hummingbirds, And I love that they've put this little dragon in here on the teapot. It's super cute. So this is the foiled cardstock for that set. Yeah. Just go ahead and move it down for me. And there we go. Perfect. Okay, so there we have it. And this one looks like it's falling off the page. I believe that that is very intentional because the shading goes darker and then peaks out again. So it really gave it a very distinctive line. And those are some that I haven't had the time to make yet, is any of my side pictures in these sets. So here's our little teapot and our little fuchsias up here. And it looks like pleats of lace, maybe like a tablecloth. And I only see that when I'm holding it upside down in front of you, so don't ask me how I came up with that just then. Okay, and then the last of the four is butterflies and flowers in, they have them in Victorian style cones. I don't think that I've ever seen that in this kind of a style before, but let me tell you, I played with it because it reminded me of a fan and I went from there. So I have lots of tags on here. I've got extra pieces, and I use, as you guys know, as much as I possibly can in a set, even if it's my little scrap pages, because they all find a home in my work. And then this is the cardstock that goes with that one. And this is the cardstock for the butterfly section of that set. Then in those inserts that you get with this, let me show you. You get 3 of each. And since I've already used some of these, you won't be able to see all of them. But here is a pink, the roses insert that goes with the vase. You've got the tea, the peacock, the secondary peacock. Okay, this is my favorite piece. It's actually my favorite piece out of all of the different sets. I really liked the way that they muted the colors, and it looks so nice with what we had. There's our butterfly, pheasant, and I've already shown you the peacock. Then you get specialty papers that are thin, and let me tell you, this is going to be necessary. So if you do not have the inserts, but you already have the set, some of these things you cannot make without these specialty papers, or if you have something in a similar color, just make sure that it's low GSM, because we're going to be taking advantage of this lighter, prettier paper. And it's bold. It's not as muted as an insert is. So you can totally use these as backing pages, you name it. Here's the blue. I haven't used this one yet, but I have used the peacock side. So I'll have to make an on purpose to use some of the blue, because it's just as pretty as those feathers. Oh, and I found out something very interesting last night on my way driving home. I found out in science that the peacock is actually a brown feathered bird. That's it. Is brown feathers. All these beautiful colors that we see is something that works within his DNA and system that reflects the light off of his brown feathers. And that's why we see all the colors that we see with the peacock. I had no idea. And it came from a true science source. So I just figured, as I was thinking about it, that I would share that little bit of information. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the first set. which is the peacock. And you guys saw him. You guys, I showed as a sample for you to see what I was working on. And so I want to make sure that we show that piece. Okay. So as you can see here, there are only 2 pictures of the peacock on here, here, and here. And I went ahead and I decided to splurge, especially with having 2 different types of pheasants on here. I thought, you know, I'm going to splurge and make this peacock just something that really stands out. And so that's exactly what I did. So I used these, and I used the background paper, and I used a 6x6 card. I encourage you to use a scoreboard for this, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But it makes a nice clean fold for you. So you would think that, yes, we can open it this way, and this is your regular 6x6 card. But instead, I folded the front flap from the bottom to the top. So then that way it then becomes my flap for my card, and it stands upright. So this is one that you don't need to have a fancy card for. It's literally just a 6x6. I took some of the peacock I have a gold mirror background behind the frame. I glued the frame to the gold. I put my foam squares up on top for this bird, and I put this one on with foam squares for this bird. Now, the reason why I say that is because I made all of that ahead of time before I put it on my card. So think of it as making it kind of off to the side, this piece specifically. None of the actual peacock feathers that you see around it, just the frame, the gold, and then the 2 pictures. So what you're going to do is that if you've made this fold from top to bottom, and you have, it just literally goes like that. At this point, if you've made your fold and you've put your peacock frames together, then the next thing that you do is you cover your 6x6 card, all of it, because it's going to show here through here, and it's also going to show in the back of your card. So you put it through it all, and the reason why this lighter paper works is because, number one, Hunkydory does a great job, and you can fold it and it doesn't crease and create white lines and be a little messy. Instead, it just does a wonderful job of folding right over. And all I did was I put down a strip on this side of the corner, and here, and then again up here and here. I left the middle free to flow, because if I don't, then I'm going to end up making that card too stiff and it won't work. So once you put your paper on and you've created your fold, the next thing to do is take your framework that you've made out of this set. And again, it's the frame glued to golden mirror. It's the spread your wings and fly peacock on foam squares. And then this little peacock guy is on a thinner foam square than this one. And the reason why I did that is because I need to hold them down so that they will connect to the peacock. So anything that is not, after you've done this and you put it up to your pieces, this is what you'll have. And it only gets glued onto this side of the card. Does that make sense? I've got this side that you're going to glue your pieces to, but you have to leave this other section free. So this part is free of glue, and this part is free of glue for the peacock. And it really does smoothly go on. I promise. It may look like it's difficult, but it really is quite easily done. The reason why I wanted to point out the foam squares here is because I then glued it onto my peacock paper over here so that it will hold that card, because with the flipping back and forth, I don't want it to wear with time. So then on the inside, I have used some of the peacock cardstock with the line on the side. I've made it just slightly smaller than the 6x6. I've taken the border and run it diagonally across after I've done my tape flags on my cardstock piece. It's not an insert piece. It is the cardstock from the paper from the Adorable Scoreable set. And so you just use that border, and it's going to have a length that because you want it to go at an angle, you use almost all of it. So how I handled it is that I just laid it across and found what fit to an angle that would work with this before I ever put it down. And I found that this worked really well. It holds on, especially right through here, very nicely. And it still holds all the way up in here. Make sure that you use foam squares, because if you don't for this border, it won't stop the card in time. And I will show you exactly what I mean, because I made a mistake in one of my cards. I'm willing to tell you about it. And then I put my little saying here, sending you all the luck in the world. So this is card number 1 out of the set. I have not had a chance to work with the pheasants at all yet, so that will come in the next video. And I'm going to kind of pick and choose from items that we've done, or I should say that I've done. So then that way you can, we're just going to shake it up a little bit. Okay, so the next one, actually, I shouldn't say that I don't have a pheasant. I do have a pheasant. But it did not come from this set. He's still here. And if you see, he's a little bit bigger than that. Wait a minute. Well, that might be tricking me a little bit. Give me just a second. Let me make sure that I recall what I did. Oh, I did. I used one of the pheasants. Okay, so I took the pheasant from the peacock right here. I took the pheasant from the peacock because I wanted to put this on our Eastern framed fancy card folds. And so this had a wonderful version of a vase here and a stork here. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put a bird, the other bird, because of the colors matching so nicely. It would work very nicely for a paneling type card. So I really liked that. Okay, so here you get this, and it's blank. Now you can choose to fold it in lots of different ways. You can go this way and then zig back this way, or you can fold it in and try, and I shouldn't say try, you can make it into more of a gatefold with a surprise panel behind. It's really your choice. They're really easy, and it's not difficult to work with them. It just flows very well. So what I did here is that I went through and I tried to save all of my pieces so that it would make showing this a little bit easier for you to see what I did with something. And I might make a mess this way, but I really did try to make sure that I included every cut that I did, just to be able to show you what I used. So for this card, I went through with my pencil, and I just went through and I laid it out against the paper like this. And then I marked it on my paper. Of course, this side I didn't have to mark anything, but I went and I took each of these panels and I marked where it sat on the paper. Now right here, because the card comes in the way, you'll just want to make a very faint little mark to indicate that that's where you cut down at. So you know to cut that piece out. And then I did that for each one of these. So again, I knew that I was coming from the bottom of the card. I cut out this piece first and marked it to be able to run it the rest of the way down. And then moved on to this one. So as you can see, I have to shift these because these are in the middle. So just a heads up. So that you know you have to kind of work and move with it. So try and find your spaces. You will use this much of your cardstock, so you have this much left over plus the secondary one that you have. So they definitely have plenty there. And because this was so beautiful, can you bring it in just a little bit, hon? Because it was so beautiful, I tried, because this was also at this end, I wanted to make sure that I got it on each one of these so that all I had to really do was then go through and construct it. And that was it. I have very few embellishments on this. I probably will go through and possibly put in a few gemstones, things like that with time. But at the same time, this is just beautiful all in of its own. This middle piece is one of the the thinner insert pieces. It's this one. And I literally just cut off a section of this and measured this out, and I created a little 1/4 of an inch, maybe more of like between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch into the middle right here. So if that makes sense to you. Okay, so you cut 2 of these because they're going to be the same. They're identical on this side as well. So just cut 2 of those. I put it on with glue so that I could have the chance to be able to shift it as needed. Remember, I've already got this card glued down from my cutouts that I made, and this goes from top to bottom. And what I have is I have bamboo stickers. And my husband went away for a moment, and so I'm going to try and get up really close. Now we have some star forms that are all gold. I do not believe that we have any more of the transparent gold, but this is what I already had on hand, and so I used it. So I've put 3 strips down to give you the bamboo look. I put a piece of bamboo here at the top. I put a piece of bamboo here at the bottom. Put my little sentiment on there. And on each side, I went through and I put one here, one here. And I didn't put one here because I've put that here instead. And this one only has one here. So I want to kind of make the eye move smoothly across. So I've put the 2 on the sides down lower and one up here and one down here because I want to put my sentiment here. And so then the same thing for this. So these are the ones that we have. I literally took this pheasant out and put him on some foam squares in order to attach him to the panels. I did the same thing for the 2 the stork and the vase of the stork. And I'm going to show you that because this part matters. These are too big for these little panels. So what I did was I went through and I cut it just right around. I cut the flower off. I didn't try and cut through it here. I just went straight up and I used this as my shape and I just cut it out. And by doing that, I now have some extra frame pieces for other places that I can use them. So that makes that very nice. And the pheasant is the square. And then the stork, I did the same thing. It had its own natural cut right here in the blue. See that blue marking? I apologize, guys. I forgot to ask for the telescope in and panning out little tool. So here's the blue. You're going to cut right around that straight. If something goes off, which this one doesn't, but if something goes out of that range, it's okay. Cut it off. You will not notice it when it comes here. And now you've used your gold in that middle frame of the pheasant, but the rest of your gold is coming either from your foiled card or is coming from your bamboo. So you don't really need those foiled arches here, but if you cut, when you do get ready to cut, cut in each corner around. So when you use this one, for example, you're going to cut that frame right there in the corner on each side. You're going to cut right here in that corner on each side and go up and around, and then cut out the rest. And if you start on the bottom corner, let me show that to you a little bit better. If you start at the bottom corner and work your way up with your cut up and around and then across the bottom, you will have a perfect arch that you won't realize even has a cut in it to use for something different, because those flowers will be pretty. You can use them somewhere else with the foil and the cream colored archway, which then fits inside this and fits inside this. So the stork, again, same thing. You're going to cut from the bottom and cut around and then across. You're going to cut here in the corner, straight up on that blue, around the bottom, and then set that aside. Because again, you're going to have another arch frame in gold that you can use for something else. Okay, so that's this folded card. I tried to make sure that I included both our folded cards as well as making some new thought process in making a card. Some of it might not be new to you. I mean, an easel card on its side has worked for many before me, but for that, there may be something that you haven't seen before. You didn't know how it worked in order to put it together. So I'm trying to be thoughtful of those that don't have the fancy cards. And this is what they look like. They're already pre-scored, folded for you. So if this was what it looks like when you put it up. Can you come in closer for me, please? I'm fighting with this a lot. Maybe point down more and then go ahead and pull out a little bit. Thank you. Perfect. Oh, this is so much better. Okay. So this is what it looks like on the back. So you can actually make it beautiful on the back as well. And I wanted to show you because this is one of the panel cards. It doesn't have any feet on it, but in another set that's from Eastern Wishes, we have patterned pieces that look like this. And I believe that there's 10, there might be 12, and we're keeping up the sale for another week because I'm doing 2 videos. So I had said that it was probably going to come off this next Wednesday off of the sale, but that's not true because I made too many things. Okay, so what I want to show you is that these panels can be used for so many different things. And so I want to show you the other side because you would never think of this as being Eastern wear, but this is what I used with our studio light ages ago when we had do your own stuff, use your own things, and make your own items. So I have a panel card that has just some 3D glued on pretty pictures. I used my background. I took the picture of the pocket of something and I cut it out and around and actually made a little pocket for a little tag. I then put on the paper clip to hold the twine on. This one I took just a little bit of the white doily. And what I did was I used my pearl paste on it, and that's how I got that color. So when people are asking, how can you use that color? And we've covered it in a few different ways, but I wanted to point out, even back a couple of years ago, this is what I did with my Cosmic Shimmer paste, is put it, and you can put it whatever color you want then, and you can use it as a piece. And then this became a tag of a bookmark to be used. And then I have my front that also has a little tag inside of it. So these were all little fun things that I did with my paneling, with my panel. And so it doesn't look very on the, I think they call them the Oriental panels, but I just wanted to show you, you can use these for lots of different things. You can even cut them and use just one. It'll go further too. Okay, so that is the next card. Which one do I want to do? I think I'm going to go, since we've done one regular card and one our own shape card, I think I'm going to do it in that order. So this is a shape that I made. Just keep it here. So I haven't added my flowers yet. I ran out of embellishment time. But these embellishments are going to really matter because this is where I forgot my bar to be on the foam squares. So even though it can stand up, that bar that's underneath here is not helping hold this in place. So I noticed that it kind of opens down here at the bottom without the flowers. And I was trying to figure out how I'm going to use those embellishments to do that. And one of the things is that I think I'm going to make another little piece that can go down in here and give it a little bit more of like a kick in between here when I fold it. And then that way it should hopefully hold it in place so that it doesn't fall back too far. And I thought that by using the cardstock, it would hold really well, but it didn't hold as well with a little bit of traveling. So that told me that I needed to rethink it. But this is basically what I did. I took a piece that is, I think it was almost the entire line of the paper. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, oh, almost 11. So I took a piece of paper at 11, I folded it in half, and then I gave an inch on each side. That might be a little bit more than an inch. It's probably like about an inch and an eighth. And so I put a line here, folded here, and then by doing that, when you flip this and invert it, you're going to take this right here and flip it and make yourself an M. By doing that, see my little M, or now it's a W, but you've got your little M here, and your M is going to do two things. It's going to give you this base. So I used this whole strip of blue that came from the side of my cardstock for the fan. Here we go. Pull out the other one. Mm-hmm. These two. So on this page with the roses, this is such pretty cardstock. What I wanted to do was take, and I just literally cut the strip that I wanted to make off right here. So you can see right here that this is my strip that I cut, and I cut the whole thing off, and then I used my little pattern. I used my little M pattern to fold my pieces where I needed them to go. And part of it was just starting at the base. So I'm going to go over that first before we talk about the rest of the card, because the rest of the card's pretty, it's, I don't want to say it's simple because it's not, but it's something that I can talk through quickly. So with this piece that's right here, you're going to start at the bottom of your card. So here's the card. You're going to start at the bottom, and you're going to go straight up where you have folded it, and you have that M. Do not glue the M. Leave this free on both sides of your papers. So you've got your horizontal and you've got your vertical. You've got the M in the middle with the long pieces being folded, with the long piece being glued here. So from bottom to top. And then from there, you're going to take and leave that M free, glue it, run it up here, excuse me, sorry. You're going to make it where it's free and set it in place. Just lay it here where the bend is, where you know that you cannot glue. And what you're going to do is that you're going to run it all the way along the back, and you're going to glue the part that's not the M, and you're going to fold over your extra to make yourself a little tab. So then when you have your card and it looks like this, especially if you put your embellishment on there, when you have that and it's just a folded card, later you can pull that open, and then it becomes your easel. Okay. So this I took from the butterfly piece of the card, because we've got butterflies right here, as well as the, I'm just going to call it the Victorian piece. And that cardstock for the butterfly looks like this. So what I did was I had to make a decision. Do I want the bottom of the butterfly to sit here? Do I want it to sit up here? Where am I going to go with this? And so what I decided is that I was going to use it this way so that I had the butterfly in the place that I wanted it to be. So I just measured out my piece, and I went ahead and I put it right along the edge, and I cut out my tag. So my tag piece of this is 3 1/4 inch by 4 3/4. Okay. And then I've taken my ribbon that I have down here, and I've put it along the back, and then I've popped up this tag, this one right here, so that I've put it on little foam squares. And make sure that when you do this, that you tuck that ribbon behind before you glue your pieces together. So you'll need a piece of just white cardstock to glue a second one on the back of your tag so that you've got the sturdiness to be able to handle the pulls and moves. And so from here, that's when you put your tag onto your white cardstock on the back. It hides the ribbon behind so that it's tucked inside and it won't be damaged or moved, and you've got a nice sturdy piece. That is the time that you glue it the rest of the way up here and fold it over the top. Okay, and the bottom is really quite simple. I took the section that was left after cutting this piece, and I folded it in half, and this is the size that I got out of it. I cut one, and I still have this size left over from this pack, along with some of the extra butterfly pieces for a little bit later. But this is where I used a good portion of it. But you will find that you'll just literally fold it in half from where you cut the butterfly from. So here's your tag. And now you can see where that's coming from, because this other piece will be cut off at this point. Go ahead and cut it all the way off, fold it in half, and now you've got half your card. Cut it in half, and you've got a second set for this. Okay. Put your ribbon on, wrap it around with your tape flags. I decided to go vertical because we've got all of these vertical lines, and I thought this would be a good way to showcase it. And then also I have my border piece that came off of that section. You can see it right there. So with that border piece, I made a mistake because it should have been up on foam squares. And that's part of what I'm running into as to why this wants to slide. So there's my mistake. And I'm probably going to find another border piece. It might not match exactly the same, but it will be close enough, and I will end up laying it over the top. Foam squares up, and then foam square your happy birthday on top of that. And then this is going to stand up so much better, and it can handle that stand. And then from there, it's just a matter of gluing on the flowers that I didn't have time to do. So there you have it. So the other one of these comes from this card. So this is what it looks like. Obviously, it looks like a fan, and I've got something that looks like roses in a little fanned out sheet. And so this is just too perfect. I think that I want to make a fan. And what ended up happening is that I haven't used this yet, because I already used this one, and this one I haven't done anything with yet, because I ended up finding that the butterflies worked wonderfully with my concept and idea. And so I want to show you that. I will need my insert paper for this one. I'm not positive, but I think that I brought the example. Yes. Okay. All right. I took and I went through with my fan on my paper, on the light paper, movable paper. I went through and I took and I made a fan. So I wanted to make sure that I started at one side And I did all of the scallops. And then I just flipped it over and did the whole rest of the scallops. And then I cut it out. So what that gave me was a really wonderful actual fan on my scallops. So, or excuse me, scallops that I've put on my fan card. So this lighter, you just flip it back and forth like a fan. You're going to tuck in your paper behind this paper, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But this is probably the thing that you need to fold first. It does work well. You can pull it and move it and kind of bend the folds to how you want it to look. So let me talk about what's going on inside the card, and then we'll come back to the outside. So on the inside of the card, I have taken what is left of that butterfly piece, and this is what I have. So this side went with the other tag easel card. This is half of the back. This is the other half that I still have. And so this is just literally cut and used here. I went through and I had some tags. Let's see. There's the rest of my pieces. I'm trying to keep them all together, but it makes it difficult. It's like hide and go seek. Here we go. So on this one, we've got two different butterflies. I made this one vertical, and I made this one horizontal. And when I put my pieces together, well, sort of kind of horizontal. So with this, I've run with the butterfly look instead, which has just turned out really beautiful. So I have the scallop, this scallop that I cut out, that is a full scallop, and you can see where I've cut out the scallop. It cuts here, and I folded half. And then I took the other piece and folded it up and over to here. So it works really well. So it's literally just taking your fan and folding it back and forth on one side. You'll have to, where it is folded in half to fit from this front to the back, is you're going to make sure that you have that folded in half the size of your card. And I did not cover that. This one is a 5 by 5. So you're going to want, with your lighter paper, you want to go through and you want to use half of your scallop, but you're going to slowly start to cut it up the middle. So at one point in time or another, you're going to have this just literally come right over and flip to be the base. And it does really work quite smoothly. I was surprised. I wasn't sure if it was going to be easy or not, but it did. It only wanted to fold so far on this side. And then I was able to just totally flip it. And what that did is that I now have a base in the opposite side of this color that I cut a secondary scallop on. See that? And I've now put this as the base, and now I can apply my fan to it. When you open it, you will already have your fan on here. You'll already have this base lighter rose color with the scallops. And then you're going to go in here. And I created with this, I just created a little kind of floral shape. I took one of the fancy cuts It's the shape of a whole flower. I took half the flower and I put it in here. I cut off a portion of it where I knew that I needed to end. And I just glued here on the bottom and up through here because I wanted to make that pocket. And I made a pocket to say birthday wishes. I made sure that it would also hold a that it will hold a gift card. So you have a gift card that you can put in there, and then I've tucked this little butterfly right in there, and he's kind of hiding. But this is the birthday wishes that I've tucked in there as a saying. Now, I used some dried flowers, but I made sure that I could put in a card right here, and it slides right in and barely peeks out. So this is with the flowers, but you can also put a gift card down in here if you would like. So you got two different ways that you can do your fan. So this is the fancy fold, and this is part of the Eastern Wishes card shapes. And let's see, I have just a little bit more time. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to show you two different. I don't know. Hey, hun, choose for me. Which one do you want me to explain? This one? Okay. It's nice when somebody gets to make a choice for me. So I have a 6x6 decal. You can see the teared end. If you recall, this is our cardstock that goes with the teapot. There's been a lot of things that I've shown you. And you'll have to play it over and over again. And I'm going to try and see what I can do about attaching photos to the Eastern Wishes luxury thing, that the luxury kit pictures that you can see. I'm going to attach those there just because we don't have an actual kit. So you'll see those be attached so that you could refer to them and take a look, as well as following kind of the directions. And just pause it as much as you need to, because I'm literally filling in at least 4 to 6 hours of your time into very short, quick piece of information. And you can always just take part of it, but not all of it. You know, if you don't like something or that's just too much, that's okay. You can get maybe an idea of something that you want to do based off of what I've suggested. Okay. So this card sorry. No, that's the insert part. Ah, I didn't go far enough down in my stack. Here we go. You will not believe how easy this card is. Truly, you will not believe it. Even if I told you. Okay, so because this is a 6x6 decal, you want that edge to show. And because of the fold up here, you need to figure out whether you want to orient your card with a top fold, tent fold style, or if you want to put it on its side. And that's totally your choice. This card will work with whichever direction you want it to be with the fold. You can just shift it so that it's upright this direction, or leave it the way that I did it with the open piece. Totally your call. What I did was I took, and since this is a 6x6 decal, I took 1/4 of an inch off of my 6x6. So I've got 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I just cut a square. And I cut a square out from right here. And I just cut this shape. So I then, and you're going to love this. You're not going to believe it. I hope that you love it. Well, you might believe it. I attached it here, the back piece. So now all I have is my cardstock and my card. And it looks exactly like this. So in order to make this, I want to make sure I saved all the different kinds of things that I used, all the goodies. By the way, the flowers that you're seeing on these, not the dried flowers, but any of the other flowers that you see on these are our little birdie flowers. Oh no, don't tell me that I didn't bring it with me. Oh, there we go. I did bring it with me. Like I said, I guess I'm more with it than I thought. Okay. So we've got the bamboo pieces, and we've got, and then I used some of my star form. It's number 1283. We have these in all different colors. So if you don't like gold, that's fine. You don't need gold. Don't like it. Choose something else. We've got it in all different colors. So there is something that will go with this. I will guarantee it. And you'll love it and you will be happy. So all I did was I took these leaves and I decided that I was going to make it my foreground. And so I basically took all the time of putting this embossed look of gold leaves and stems throughout, and you just fill it up. I didn't put a lot behind here because I knew that I was going to put my little teapot right there. So I mainly focused on wherever it was going to come in or poke out from, and I just kind of filled it along the way. And there was a time where after I put the little squares on, after I put the foamies on here and put the 2 squares on, I realized, oh, hey, I've got a couple of places that I really need to tuck one in. And that's when I would use, we have these that are super tiny. They're not big ones at all. See that? So it's really hard to see, of course, not on paper, but there we go. So this is just one of those little tiny ones. Isn't that beautiful? Shimmers and shines. I would take some of those throughout my section and I would fill it in. And here's why I'm saying this. Maybe I don't want a big, huge piece, but I've got a big gap right here. Okay. There was a gap right here on the side, and there was this blank space. And over here, there's a blank space. So I thought that's too many blank spaces on the same space. I've got some blank spaces down here, but they're all kind of interworked. So what I did is I took my piece and I literally put it right there in the middle of my blank spot and tucked it back behind my square. So here in my blank space that's fairly large, I think that I am going to then now show you what I mean. You can choose anywhere where there's a stem. So here's the end of my stem. Here's the end of my stem. And what I mean by the end is this little tiny fine, excuse me, cover it with the card. It's this little tiny fine piece back here. And then this is your curl. So you're going to take the end piece and tuck that somewhere in where you would like for it to show. Or you can tuck it in from here and make it look like it is a piece this direction. So you've got this option, or you can trail it down and throughout off of your piece of sticker that's already here. So this one, I'm having a tough time finding it to work there under here for filling in my blank, but where I do see a spot that would work is I can now take that and put it right there and let it hang off of this one. And now it's filled in that space, and it's like that, just like that. So this card was my favorite card of the day because it probably took me like 5 minutes. I'll say 10. So it was just figuring out where I wanted to lay them. I just kind of did a hodgepodge of putting the leaves out. There was not too much rhyme and reason until I put my pieces in to see that it was coming together. So with this, you've got foamies behind here. It's a low foam. It's a 1 millimeter. I didn't want to do it any bigger than that. Please make sure that when you're putting a square on top of something else that has a foam, that you put foam in each corner. But if it's going to touch this piece, then don't put a foamy there, or else this is going to stick way out. So you want the foamy to go on the inside underneath before it actually touches. If that makes any sense, you can glue this down to this one if you want, but it's not necessary. That foamy is going to stay and be held quite nicely. And this is called, this one says, Friends Become Our Chosen Family. I love that. And I have another sticker. Another sticker that I was going to use for embellishments on this piece. Now, I haven't looked to see if we have any in stock anymore. I do know that we've had them in the past. It's an old enough sticker that I've had it for a while before I ever met Debbie, but it's a hot off the press hummingbird in mint. And then I took leaves. So it's a dazzle, hot off the press, and it is a hummingbird, and it's mint colored. And I took the leaves from the little pink pearlescent stickers that we have from hot off the press. And I'm going to, because I'm not seeing my sticker, I don't think that it made its way in to the pack. No, I would see it. So they look a lot like these, but they're tinier. And they're right up in here. And I would say that it would be so much fun to be able to put those and your little leaves, and I'm kind of giving you a heads up of what you'll see next week. I took those little mint leaves and added them right in on the leaves of my picture. So you can take those mint leaves and put them right in here, and then use red gems in order to make those fuchsias pop. And I am going to add some glossy accents to this one. But this is as far as I got, and I'm very happy with it as is, but it's always nice to give it a little bit of zhuzh. Okay. All right, guys, have a great rest of your weekend, and I hope you have lots of fun. Enjoy, and if there are questions that you guys have, you can put them in the comments, and I'll try and answer them in the next week's video. And my goal is to do this back to back, so you should have it this week and then next week for Eastern Wishes, and we will go through the whole collection. It is unbelievable. So I enjoy talking to you again soon. And Debbie is saying that she might do What's New Wednesday. So let's see. And I know that she really wants to be able to say hello and and have her space again. So I want to make sure that she has that this next week, but I may possibly do What's New Wednesday because you never know what can happen in a day, right? So with that, I am going to say goodbye. And oh, don't forget a thumbs up. It helps us be able to be found by other crafters and be able to see things that they can do from our ideas. When you are done watching this, if you will refresh and put in a comment, and those comments, the comments that are there, you can basically put, like I said, any questions that you might have, and then I already forgot what I asked you to put in comments for next week. So I guess we're going to leave it at that. And you can always replay it back to find out because it was right at the very beginning. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day and goodbye.